I didn't know it was all going to end up being what it was going to be. I just wanted to rap at people. That's why I didn't like garage, because I thought the singy part was cheesy. I didn't like it. I just wanted to rap at people. Listen to me, I'm saying stuff. Once it got to that point, like, rah, fucking hell, like, they've taken us serious, like, nationally.
The beauty was in the imperfection. I couldn't tell you what I was doing. I was just doing what I could, working with what I had.
We went from ground zero, you know, guys on the council estate. Next minute, we're on top of the pops. It was quite surreal.
So many kids out there feeling the same way about things that we was talking about. He looks like me, he's dressed like me, spitting about the same things that I go through every day. The beat's cold, I'm in. They just related like that.
We have that great sort of can-do attitude in this country, and that's really what birthed grime from garage, because as garage became more and more obsessed on the mainstream record industry money, it didn't reflect the underground of London. So we kind of just broke away on our own and made a sound that was our sound.
There was like another shift of youth that had stuff to say and couldn't say it over garage beats.
You'd be on the mic, you're still doing your lyric, and then the vocal would come, and then you're still doing your lyric. You just want to just finish the couple lines off. You know what I mean? You got to keep it smooth.
9 out of 10 times what you're living isn't going to be a garage vocal. It's not going to be flowers in the pouring rain.
Garage didn't really want us lot basically involved in their scene, so we just started making our own thing that was a bit similar to garage, but had a bit more of a darker sound to it.
It was scary. It was guys in hoodies on the mic. It's loud. If you're not the hardest and your voice ain't the loudest, you ain't noticed. That's what background we come from. It was just guys expressing themselves.
The energy that was happening in Newham and Tower Hamlets was like crazy. We finally had something that was created by someone like us. It was a culture, like everyone was living it, you know what I'm saying? And it was ours.
I'm an Esky dance keeper, get the weed cheaper, quantum leaper, the Tottenham High Streeter, Esky beat beater, 8-star reader, 4 times community service preacher.
I like Wiley and DEE, they were like local boys, and their style of MCing didn't feel like it was to turn up a rave. They just felt like, to me, they were like more lyrical and a bit more witty of what they were saying.
I'm not the founder, I'm just a person who was involved in the movement at the beginning of the game. It just lets me know I'm a bad boy in every area.
Being around Pirate Radio was great. My show, 7 to 9 on a Friday, was the show before Roll Deep. And then I'd hear Wiley and his proteges turning up with all this incredible new music that sounded like nothing anywhere else on the world.
If you think of grime, it's a very industrial, very cold sound. This was supposed to represent the sounds of the estate in some ways. Doors shutting, police doing another raid. For people like Wiley, that was the noise that they were hearing in their everyday lives.
This was the first thing that we took initiative and said, let's do our own thing, you know what I'm saying? It was just a real reaction to what's happening in our lives right now. We didn't have any idea where it was going to go. We just wanted to make music.
On Boy in the Corner, I'd start the tracks with the drums, yeah? Say it's I Love You. So that's the kick, and there's that weird noise, like, whatever the fuck it was, and that'd be the thing, and I'll be like, push, ch, ch, push, push, ch, ch. I grew up in Bow in the 90s. It was just a definitive time to be from East and be going to other areas, like in South or in North and all that, and be getting that love. Going from youth club to youth club. It started there, listening to the olders on radio, then started getting onto more under 18s raves. I just wanted to make songs that would make the rave go mad. Boy in the Corner, a lot of that stuff was made for those raves, where someone was gonna get shot or stabbed. That was usually how it ended. I didn't see it as grime, and when people say, oh yeah, you make grime in, I didn't like that. I didn't know what I called it. I just made beats and music and that. We were just happy to be in the raves. Never knew it was gonna get that big.
I love you.
If you were to go 15 minutes that way, you've got Limehouse or Wild-House, as they used to call it, where you'd have Scratchy, Danny, Target, all those guys just hanging out and making music as part of Roll Deep.
We wild up youths when they get wary, but that crew, they can't get leery.
Living around here at that time felt like how I imagine it would have felt to have been around at the time of hip-hop in the Bronx.
Selector,
Living in that flat above there and listening to Rinse, getting a shout out from, Slimzy or whoever was on radio at that time, it felt like the dawn of a new era in music.
DJ Slimzy.
This famous block here was when I was setting up aerials and stations back in 1994, 95, when I was roughly about 15. I was playing slowed down drum and bass on 33, mixing it with grime or garage. I used to play it for the MCs, really. The beats were weird. It was like new, no one didn't know what it was at first. Grime came about, the name Grime, and everyone stuck with that. I remember doing a take back, me and Dizzy Rascal for Sidewinder. We was turning up at raves and they was playing it when their cars outside the raves and I thought, well, we're getting massive now, you know what I mean? Like, just keep doing what you're doing, like.
The very first ASBO was given to Slimzy for public disorder or public nuisance because of pirate radio. I think you couldn't have made that a better story for the first ASBO.
The access that we had to equipment and easily cracked production software, that financial barrier being removed is pretty much responsible for grime. It completely democratised music making. In the same way, being able to go into any shop and buy a cheap guitar democratised being able to make rock music, and punk was born from that.
This is massive. I haven't put this CD in for about 10, 12 years, so I'm really excited. These tracks were originally made in Fruity Loops. You know what? I really do miss Fruity Loops, man. So we've got the kicks, the snare, a crash. We've got the main synth. Woo! Tracks that moved to this were made in my bedroom on a little Packard Bell computer. No mic, probably a speaker as big as that. No hardware, no headphones, just Fruity Loops. Whoever made Fruity Loops, I need to find him, Thank you. Thank you, mate. This is grime at its finest. Sweet. It's like sex, man. I can't lie to you, man.
They make me laugh and ting, they can never come around and cause harm and ting. They don't want it, they don't really want arms and ting. Come room and meet me at palms and ting, boy.
We was doing a lot of improvising and a lot of taking chances. Also at the same time, we didn't really know what we was doing. All the DVDs started getting filmed. It kind of changed the game in a lot of ways because we went from being on a pirate radio where you just heard and not seen to being on a DVD where people can see your face.
So that was my attempts at a bit of After Effects. And it stayed with the DVD for over the years, really.
Right now, Risky Roads 2, shut the door for me, please. Yeah, man, right now we're live in the bedroom, yeah. All the girls were spinning here, you know what time it is.
I worked at Rhythm Division at the time. Me and the boy who worked in there, Sparky, basically was talking and I said, maybe we should film a DVD because there's a few people that I don't know and I want to know what they look like. And I come home, made up the name Risky Roads, and asked me, Nan, do us a favour, can you lend us some money to get the camera? And this was it. The sound quality wasn't the best in raves and stuff like that, but I made it work for what it was. This was the next level of the kit, basically. And this one probably captured some of the most memorable stuff from the scene. The most iconic thing that I captured on this was Ghetto's freestyle.
What's happening? What's really good cuts? What's crackling? I be in the hood blood, still battling, still trying to push drugs. So when I see feds, they only see legs, yeah, I'm still panicking.
It's crazy how the whole thing spirals out. I'd grown up listening to Pay As You Go, and then all of a sudden, Plague from Pay As You Go, I'm his little boy's godfather. So the music, as well as bringing me a career aspect, it's brought me friends and family.
Round one, fight! Once with this, I'm hearing no lies about me. Another body in a body bag, you'll be. I'll kill about with my bare hands, you'll see. You can't fuck about with Scratchy.
All you used to know was the MC's voice. You never really ever got to see the face. There was no YouTube. So me and Ratty and Capo was like, yeah, we need to let the people see who these guys are.
Oh, bang your head with a B-18! Bang your head with a CUT!
Me being me, I just looked into the business aspect of it. I saw a kind of gap in the market and Lord Almighty was born from that.
They can't hear or scare me, no, I'm a clampers. I'm a pro, I'm clamping out youngers, taking big charts and moving out dancers. Here's MC, he's one of those pranksters.
Well, the quality wasn't the greatest. We just picked up the camera, press record, and off we go. We didn't care about sound, didn't care about lighting. However raw it was, however smoky the room was, we were just in there just capturing whatever footage we could.
Yo, Bill, when I spit to kill. Spit like I set alarms, you know the drill. Entire crew armed, you know the drill. Bring
The clash with Wiley and Kano, man, that was epic times. Wiley's come in the room and I'm saying to him, yeah, what are you saying about clashing Kano? Knowing Wiley, he ain't gonna turn down a clash. So he was like, all right, let me get something from my car. Again, knowing Wiley, that means he's not coming back. So he went out to his car. And when he came back, that's when we knew something special was gonna happen that day.
What you saying? I'm spraying and that's nothing back a day. And every day I'm on road all day. Won't have a bar, rude way. What you saying? Constant spraying. Had enough, now I ain't playing. What you saying?
I was like the up and coming one. Wiley had kind of been around, you know what I mean, respected. My attitude was like whatever, let's do it.
Who's gonna hold me back once I start? You crazy? I'll shut you up with a dum-dum, you baby.
I don't need to say I wonder.
That was very hot. It's level.
At that time, the British identity really came alive. We never sounded American. We had our own slang. It sounded cool. All we knew is what we done. We didn't care about nothing else. We just knew, listen, Boy in the Corner, Home Sweet Home, they are the albums, Eskimo is the dance. Anything outside of that, it don't exist, we don't care. You know what I'm saying? And that created a real identity for us.
These were kids that were largely ignored, no one cared about, and all of a sudden they had this very provocative, very angry, very aggressive, barking, bonkers cacophony of noise, and it exploded.
More Fireboys. You've seen them more Fireboys.
I remember walking to school and I saw Oi was out and I thought, oh my God, I can't believe it. Something that I liked so much was being shown to everybody. To see it on a bus or a phone box, wherever it was, and I was like, whoa. Like, I couldn't believe it. It was a big deal for me.
Seen that Lethal B-boy the other day.
People were just like really responding to it. Those guys had like little Nokia phones and people were texting, yeah, the tune's sick. And this is the time where like So Solid are doing videos and stuff. So we're thinking, wow, maybe we should shoot a video for this.
Oi, who's that boy Lethal B? Oi, who's that boy Lethal B? Oi.
I was about 17 at the time. I've just been on top of the pops. I'm going to college the next day. And I was thinking, this is gonna change everything. This is gonna help everyone. And in all honesty, it didn't really change a lot.
Pow! Yeah, I'm Lee for the beat. Pow! If you don't know about me, pow!
A lot of majors didn't really get it. You know, a lot of the people in these offices don't really give a shit about the culture. They want to know if it's popular. If it's popular and it's selling, we'll have it. It's kind of damaging sometimes. So I was like, you know what? Why are we all fighting against each other? And where we're trying to get to don't want us anyway. Why don't we work together and try and get there on our own terms?
Serious. Because there was no help, we made things happen ourselves, which is better anyway. It was more organic. Everything was pretty much independent. We used to drive around to record shops and put vinyls in there, sale or return. It could have been bad for the scene if we would have got help, you know what I'm saying?
It's all professional. It was a really exciting time because you had full control of it yourself. Obviously, when anything does well, labels come in and they look for more of it. Who's the next Dizzy that we can pick up? Kano was the next obvious choice.
I'm a master at work. I ain't talking about 9 to 5. I'm a master at work. Kids class us backwards, and I won't ever stop till I drive past in that way.
I'll be going to school and people will be like, oh, I heard you yesterday, and you know what I mean? I started becoming a little celebrity in school, you know what I mean? Still you think it's just a little local thing, you know? You don't realise that people up in the country like was really like recognising me as a real MC. We used to go to raves, you know, I remember going one week and it would be like you can't get in, and then going the next week and it would just be like you're on the mic and thousands of people is like singing along your lyrics. It's a weird thing to get your head around when you're so young. 2003-04, we got booked to go Ayia Napa. Once we got there, we realised, wow, people from Glasgow know us, people from Nottingham know us. We kind of like had a moment there and realised like when we come back, we're gonna, you know, take this really seriously. And for me, by the end of 2004, the big calls started coming and major record companies wanted to get involved, and the rest is history, really.
Dagenham's here really, I think, because of the Ford factory, do you know what I mean? Big industrial site over on the Thames. And obviously they built a load of houses and I ended up living in one, you know? This is where I grew up. I'd sit in my bedroom, tuning into the radio on a crappy little hi-fi, and then, do you know what I mean, try writing to beats. Yeah, that's where it really started, I suppose. People were talking about real things, you know what I mean? And they were local to people, you know? So I found I could relate to that.
That fucking kills me, man. I can only be 14 and I've got chubby cheeks and everything. It's mad though, man. That's over 10 years ago, you know? But sometimes you'd have about 40 people in there, you know what I mean? All sweating up and fighting over the microphone.
I think it must have been about 2009. I was just making songs, you know. My boy Dogsy was working with a producer called Craze at the time. He sent through the instrumental for London City. That was it. People started showing interest for that song. And I think the manager rang me up one day, said there's about 4 record labels interested. And I probably said to him, piss off, you know what I mean? It didn't seem real at the time, you know. I was only young. Then we cracked on with Island Records, man. Yeah, and that was it. I had a record deal, man. Thinking, oh, this is a bit mental. I'm a signed artist now after all these years of trying to write lyrics in a pad. It was all for something, you know, like, it was a mad journey, like.
If everyone knows anything, there was the thing, I got stabbed and all that shit there out in Napa. So once I got back, I was feeling a way about a few things. It's like, oh, you know what, fuck this. And then I just wanted to just make music and mind my own business. I had enough because, I've got an album now, Big Knowledge. I fucking won a Mercury Award. Like, this is, I'm a real artist now. So my response was to I just want to make music and stay the fuck out of the way. I don't really understand what a Mercury was, like to the extent where I took it home and I was on the estate with it. I was standing on the estate with it, shouting at my friend, kind of looking at it. So now I'm dealing with fucking post-traumatic stress and fame and not trained for any of it.
Suck your mother pussy up. We come from a violent place, you can't butter over that kind of thing. It's what it is. It was us showing that it's not just violence, there's actually some talent in this mix. If you don't give it the time, you won't hear the beauty in it. It's not just something that just jumps out at you.
You've got these kids with nothing but pure energy. Some of it might be seen as violent, but at the same time, for me, they're accepting it with hip-hop. But with the UK music, they just refuse to kind of accept that.
It was rare that you were able to go to a grime rave because they were so rarely allowed to be put on by the police. The rise of grime was really tied into that rise in Trident, and the police were so on trying to shut down and trying to figure out what to do about this sort of gang violence, and I think grime took a lot of heat for that.
We're still up against it in terms of, like, you know, the police. We have to do all these checks, to do events. I don't want to get too political into it, but there's no real reasoning behind it apart from, you know, the obvious, which some people bring race into it. And I think back then it was new, it was fresh, people were younger. Now people just want to come out and see their artists and hear the music and just have a good time.
Okay.
Bonkers.
Some people think I'm bonkers, but I just think I'm free. And I'm just living my life, there's nothing crazy about me.
When people talk about why the music changed, is because I'm making music for a different environment. After I'd fucking been on 10-date tour on Justin Timberlake around the country screaming girls who want to sing, I'm standing up here and I'm shouting a load of bars at you. It's not really that. Yeah. So by the time I was on my fourth album out, those raves didn't even exist. So that's why I'm doing things like Bonkers and Dance With Me and shit like that. I'm fucking doing it, I'm 50,000 people like in the field.
Yeah, I'm still about damn. What kind of things that you have? When I find out, don't expect me to stop. Oh, come for the peas that you stack and come for all the food that you block.
It was a really exciting time. People's getting signed, getting big money. You know, kids coming from the streets. For it to actually be happening, it was very surreal. But at the same time, the culture got left behind.
I ain't really seen no more. We used to have pirate radio every week. There used to be raves every week and you bump into people. But now it looks like people are doing their own things and that, and time's moved on.
You're certainly romanticising it if you think that we're all like, nah, fuck the man, we just want to keep it for ourselves and pure. Because, yeah, we started out doing this for nothing and as fun, you know, youth clubs or pirate radio and whatever, but everyone wants to turn what they love into a profession.
We had a flood of commercial music, but there's no depth to it, there's no longevity, there's no history. We had to go back to the drawing board and say, do you know what, we're just going to make the music we want and make the people feel it from the heart.
What's grime really if I ain't involved? What's grime really when I'm in this mode? I'm your favourite MC's favourite MC, ain't nobody murdering this flow.
The last 6-7 months have seen a real return to what the essence of grime was. People like Lethal, Skepta, seeing that they've got this really young fan base, desperate for stuff. Perhaps that's part of why they're returning back to the original sound, because life's hard these days. You know, there's been recessions, there's been wars. People are sick of hearing how much money you've got, how many girls you've had sex with. I think that's perhaps why we're seeing a return to the roots of grime, and I hope that it continues, because it's far more exciting when it's being made like that.
Bring your best man forward, that's room. And the main reason is doing what he's doing.
Grime scene in Birmingham is growing right now. To be fair, it's stronger than the London grime scene actually. When I'm going to like these festivals and I'm playing grime, everyone's excited, people still love it. Grime will get bigger and bigger as time goes by, and perhaps more people from just the UK in general will get into it.
As a youngster, it's the thing to do when you're in the hood. You feel like you're trapped, you're surrounded, the government don't care about us, blah, 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 blah. But I still acknowledge that if I didn't go to school and use the facilities that were provided, none of this would happen. Which is why, again, why youth clubs, they've taken away, and I feel like a lot of us wouldn't be around now. If that shit wasn't there, there would be no boy in the corner.
There's still pioneers that are still keeping it how it's supposed to be. Jammer, he hasn't changed for anything. Same thing with Boy Better Know. And you know what? Now, those fruits are coming to ripe.
Grime's gonna be one of the ones that you can't get rid of. It started out in the street and you know, they battered it down for so long and we still come through 10 years later on the other side. Businessmen making good quality music and doing that same grimy music that everybody was scared of in the first place.
This post reached 1.7 million people. Crazy.
I've definitely embraced the way the music scene has evolved. You know, over the years, I've always analysed it and thought, okay, how can I get involved and put my point across? And now, like, internet, social media is the way we consume everything. So I wanted to try and do something where I could be like, you know, I can be in control of my own business.
In life, the road that you travel sometimes isn't the right road, but you will travel down it, you will trip over, you will make mistakes, whatever, you will do whatever you're gonna do, but try and stay on the right path. And I know you don't listen, kids, but whatever.
What you call it? Garage? Garage?
We're always quick to say that's not grime and this is not grime. Truth be told, the genre is so young, how can it have a complete identity yet? Hip-hop does not sound the same as it did in Run DMC's time. If everyone stopped to saying that's not hip-hop all the time, then there would have been no evolution and therefore would not exist.
There's more excitement and more epic times where you feel like you could shed a tear to come. Because we've got so much more to achieve. Grime is not a BPM. Grime is a lifestyle. Grime is how you feel about the music. What you're saying on it and what you're wearing is part of this. It's part of UK.
What you call it? Garage? What you call it? Garage? What you call it? Urban? What you call it? Urban? What you call it? Two-step? What you call it? Two-step? What you call it? Tell us what you call it then. Why'd you think that I'm stupid? I got brains, I can never be stupid. You can never use my name to make your ends jam. I won't turn up or stay at home with a girl and jam. You can't threaten me with no bad man talk, I'm not scared. Sorry man, but I've seen so much now I don't give a monkey's. Swing from tree to tree just like monkeys. Who influenced me to be funky? Who influenced me to make SQB? I make SQB.